We've got a big Wednesday coming up, guys. I forgot to hit it.
Hello there.
Hello there indeed. It's a big day coming up in the NBA tomorrow for Wednesday. An absolute ton of games on. I'm going to preview them right now, so let's do it. The first game we look at is the Detlef Schrempf Bowl, the Mavs and the Pacers. The Mavs have been a little bit up and down. They're dealing with a lot of absences at the moment. Tim Hardaway was horrendous last time out with his groin obviously bothering him. So let's watch him. Let's see how much he plays. We could have Powell, Kleber, and Finney-Smith back. Now, I'm recording this one a little bit earlier because it's such a low-volume day today. I'm going to spend a little bit of time away from basketball, which, hey, you all need to do in a season that runs every day for 6 months. Anyway, that's enough of that stuff. But, yeah, Hardaway's a guy that had been playing pretty well, hurt his groin, and then absolutely stunk. So let's watch him. And I also want to see what Willie Cauley-Stein's role is. 19 minutes last game for Cauley-Stein, and that's without Powell or without Kleber. We had James Johnson running at center. Porzingis is back. I think Cauley-Stein's time maybe as a 12-team league guy is over. For the Pacers, they're going to be without Karis LeVert, of course. And they're probably going to be without Miles Turner, who did suffer a broken hand. And by me saying a broken hand, it is catastrophizing the event. It's a small avulsion fracture, and he is day-to-day. So he might not miss any time, but they are going to be without him. Now, if he is out, you're going to get someone like Goga Badadze, and maybe Jakar Sampson play minutes. Neither of them are going to be must-roster players. But McDermott's an interesting one because he played 32 minutes in a start. I think he gets another opportunity to start if Turner is out as a spacer next to Domantas Sabonis. But realistically, all he's going to provide is scoring for us. So it's at least one to watch. And then we always want to watch the Holidays. Mainly Justin Holiday because Aaron Holiday's numbers are absolutely in the toilet at the moment. We want to watch Justin Holiday. Is he providing those steals that we need? Next game is the Jarrett Allen Bowl, the Nets and the Cavs. It looks like Kyrie Irving is returning, so we want to watch Kyrie. We want to watch it closely, how he looks, how it goes with him, Harden, and Durant. What are the usages? How is the distribution? Who's holding the ball? There is so much to watch, and I never thought I'd say that about a Nets and Cavs game. For the other player for the Nets I want to look at is Jeff Green, because if he is going to be forced out of the starting lineup, which I imagine he will be,
My name is Jeff.
how much does that impact DeAndre Jordan? How much do they play Green at center? Because they played Jordan like 37 minutes last game. So if Green's back on the bench, will they look to get Green his 26 minutes or so by playing some of them behind Durant and some of them behind Jordan, pushing Jordan back to 24 minutes? That is absolutely one to watch there. And then for the Cavs, how is the Jarrett Allen, Andre Drummond split going to take place? Is it going to be 32 minutes for Drummond and 16 for Allen? Are they going to play together, God forbid? Are they going to see 24 minutes apiece? That is a key question. And then with Cleveland, we've seen Chetty Osman play a pretty large role, but Taurean Prince is going to be available. Will he eat into that playing time? Will Sexton and Garland play? Will Dylan Windler be back at any point? So there is a lot of questions about how much Osman plays and what his role can be when he's not as high usage as he has been in the last couple of weeks. Next up, the Celtics and the 76ers, the Dana Barros Bowl. Kemba Walker was really rusty in his return. He played 20 minutes. The main thing I want to watch is how many minutes he plays. Does he go from 20 straight up to 28, or do they keep him at 20 for a period of time? That's going to be very indicative of how the progress of Kemba tends to look. So let's pay attention to that and what that means for Peyton Pritchard and for Jeff Teague. And then Marcus Smart, a guy whose shot is really off at the moment. I still believe in Marcus Smart. I think he can still have value, and I know he can shoot better than 27% from the field. So let's see how he looks. It doesn't worry me particularly that Kemba is back. For the Sixers, we want to watch Shake Milton. Because I did that sell high show earlier on today, talking about Shake and his numbers being unsustainable. Seth Curry is going to be out again, so Shake's going to have another opportunity at big minutes, big numbers, but can he continue this high steal rate, high assist rate, and in particular, 70+ true shooting, which has obviously been amazing. Ben Simmons has been disappointing this season. I have no problem saying that because it's obviously true. But can Simmons get anything going under this new look Sixers team? I'm starting to have some significant doubts that he's going to be that player that we've seen in the past. Usage is down, even assist numbers and defensive numbers aren't quite where we'd like them to be. They're not peaking at the level we'd like them to get to, so he's one to watch here for sure. The next game, the Chris Bosh Bowl, the Heat and the Raptors. Kendrick Nunn played a really good game last time. Good minutes from Nunn, but if Miami is back to full strength, will he be in the rotation? And even if we have Butler and Hero sidelined, Will we get good none or will we get bad none? That's a question. We're not going to have Avery Bradley playing, but there is still some question marks as to how Kendrick Nunn looks. He's played 27 and 34 minutes in the last 2 games. Again, because no Hero and no Butler, so don't get too wrapped up in it. Kelly Olynyk, last couple have been pretty disappointing. He does do this. We know this. He has these slumps. If the slump means he gets 20 minutes a night, then you drop him. Let's see how he looks, because he played 24 and 25 the last 2 games, and prior to that, 32, 41, and 39. Now, that was with a lot of absences. But even before that, 32, 21, 28, 29, 29, pretty strong minutes. The 25 minutes is holdable. If it gets to 21 or 22, then it's a problem. If they start putting Achua in there, or when Myers Leonard comes back in, he plays minutes, then that becomes a problem. For the Raptors, Norman Powell shooting the ball pretty well, but still only 22 minutes last game. That's a little bit of a concern. Let's see how much playing time they give Storm and Norman, and if he can work his way back into top 100 value. While Pascal Siakam, can he actually do anything offensively? Can he be a number 1 option on an NBA team? Because at the moment, it's definitely not looking like it, and the efficiency at times takes a hit. He needs to play a lot closer to the basket to have some of that value return. Next up, the Pistons and the Hawks, the Rasheed Wallace Bowl. The Duke Wayne Ellington hit like 7 threes last game. Will he continue to start? I have no doubt that he will, but will he get prioritized over Sadiq Bey and Josh Jackson and Delon Wright, as was the case last game? He could be a streamer for threes, but we don't rely upon Wayne Ellington. Delon Wright, minutes really tumbled last game. A guy that can get you some assists and steals, but if he's playing 21 minutes a night so that Allington and Derrick Rose can play to try and remain competitive and lose by 7 points against the Miami Heat, then it's really hard to trust Wright. He needs 27 to 28 minutes a night to be a must-roster 12-teamer. I think he's probably a drop. Let's pay attention here. Well, for the Hawks, the Baptist Johnny Collins had a putrid 12% usage last game. Clint Capella is dominating. He's working well as a pick-and-roll threat. If the Hawks do welcome back Danilo Gallinari, what on earth does that mean for John Collins? So Collins is always going to be a key focus of how things work with the Hawks. While the fan of pants, Kevin Huerter, there's no Chris Dunn and no Bogdan Bogdanovic, so that helps him. He's putting up some really, really big numbers. In fact, he played 41 minutes last game and 36 the game before that. He's getting steals, he's getting assists. He's worth at least a short-term 12-team league ad, but let's see how his minutes look in this game. The Darko Milicic Bowl, the Magic and the Wolves. Aaron Gordon's passing has been really improved. Without Markelle Fultz, he's taking on a larger role. It's sapping a lot of the value from Cole Anthony, but Aaron Gordon, can that passing continue? Now, his shooting was horrendous last game, but put up a ton of counting stats, and let's see what happens there. While Cole Anthony, I reckon we do move on from him at this point. Let's see if he can get any sort of good looks. And the wild thing is about Cole Anthony is that even when he was playing as the backup to Markelle Fultz, people were rostering him in 12-team leagues. Man, I think we need to roster him. As soon as he became a starter, the overwhelming thing was, man, he's got to be dropped, which is a wild change in perspective on him. But I disagreed at the first part that he needed to be rostered when he was playing 18 minutes a night. And I think I do agree now that we want to drop him. For the Wolves, will they go with big minutes for Jared Vanderbilt again? I thought he produced pretty well in that first game as the starting power forward. There's going to be no Karl Anthony Towns as he deals with COVID. There's going to be no Juancho Hernan-Gomez, but will Jake Layman be back in the rotation? Will we get Ricky Rubio back, which can force other guys up a position? I'd still rostering Vanderbilt and seeing where this goes. While I'd like Josh Okogie, who is the defensive stopper, to get a steal, at least. He hasn't had one all season, and realistically, his fantasy value comes from being able to get steals. The Marcus Morris Bowl, the Suns and the Rockets. Can Devin Booker do anything? He was horrendous last game. Could not put together any sort of shooting performances. So let's see what he can do. It makes him a really interesting buy low, but the way things are going, it doesn't feel like he can get back to being a top 20 player. Now, maybe he can, but I'm a little bit skeptical of it. And we want to see what the Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder minute split is. Johnson started last game and played bench minutes. Crowder came off the bench and played starter minutes. And if that's going to be the split, it's hard to look at Johnson as a 12-team league guy. For the Rockets, we'll look at Victor Oladipo, who had 9 assists in his Houston debut, running as the point guard. Will he get another opportunity to do that, or will John Wall come in and really sap his value? We don't know if Wall is playing. We don't know if House is playing. So there's going to be some adjustments to that Rockets team depending on the status of those guys. And same with Eric Gordon, who's shooting the two-pointer at an unbelievable clip. I'm not certain that he's a must-roster 12-team league guy. If you need points, sure, Eric Gordon can be that guy, but he just lacks in so many other areas. Next up is the Zach Randolph Bowl, the Grizzlies and the Blazers. DeAnthony Melton, absent from the rotation last game. Is that an ongoing thing? Will they play John Conchar ahead of him? Grayson Allen's getting a ton of minutes. I think we dropped Melton pretty clear, but that was a wild decision from Taylor Jenkins. And then we're going to watch the X-Man Xavier Tillman, who's starting at center, should be starting at center again if Valanciunas is out, which we expect. And I want to see what he can do. He is a great short-term stream, but with 11 or 10 games on Wednesday, 10 games on, is he going to be in your best 10 players? Do you have an active roster spot for him? And that's what you've got to look at. For the Blazers, we know that CJ McCollum is out for the next 4 weeks, minimum. Probably closer to 6 with a hairline fracture in his foot. Rocket Rodney Hood started last game and played really well. He will not continue to play that well. He won't continue to shoot that well. It's a little bit of a fluky performance, but let's watch to see if he gets the minutes or if it does go to Gary Trent. And then Robert Covington, who's been a massive disappointment this season. Let's see what Covington can do. Let's see if he can get some semblance of good shooting and high usage or decent usage, because it's been pretty rough for him so far this season. The next game is the Mike Woodson Bowl. The Kings and the Clippers. Tyrese Halliburton only 22 minutes last game because they rode with Marvin Bagley. Probably incorrectly, but that's what they did. Let's see if Halliburton can get back to 30 minutes. We're not panicking. We're not dropping him. While on the flip side, we want to watch Bagley because he put up some big numbers. Now, his defensive performance was pretty poor, but he still put up some big numbers and he got the minutes. And in fantasy, if he gets 30-plus minutes, he'll be a 20 and 10 guy who might get you a block to block and a half per game, which is really useful. So let's see those minutes and let's see how much he plays. For the Clippers, Marcus Morris playing pretty well off that bench. Probably more of a 14-team league player, but let's see what he does and how that impacts guys like Nick Batum. And then Luke Kennard with Lou Williams out. Kennard has been playing well. Let's see if that can continue. Let's see what role they put Kennard in. But when Williams comes back, it is hard to have any sort of reliance on what the Duck is going to produce. Last game is the David West Bowl, the Spurs and the Warriors. Remember David West? He just dropped out of the league real quick. LaMarcus Aldridge. It's been pretty rough, and even last game against the Blazers, he started to get it going, and then he played only 24 minutes. We're holding. We hope he can start to grab rebounds. I don't know they're coming back. We hope he can start to get blocks. I'm not sure they're coming back, but I feel okay that the shooting will start to return, and we saw that last game, so watch him. And then we're watching Jakob Poeltl, who's put together two really good games in a row. The previous 10 games were terrible. Let's hope he can get things rolling, because if he can produce those numbers in 22 minutes, he does have 12-team value. For the Warriors, Kelly Oubre turned it on last game, which is awesome. And then we want to watch Blunty, James Wiseman. Wiseman struggled with fouls, had 5 fouls in 13 minutes, and with the play of Eric Paschall in that small ball lineup, I don't know how much Wiseman's going to play. Let's see how he looks. Let's see if he can work back to 26 or 27 minutes. I am a little bit skeptical of it, though. Lastly, let's look at some stream options. Xavier Tillman, Jared Vanderbilt, Patrick Beverley, PJ Tucker, Jay Crowder are some interesting stream options who are available in over 50% of Yahoo leagues. But remember, adding them, you might not even be able to put them into your active roster. So pay attention to that, guys. We are done. Subscribe, not Apple Podcasts, because this is just YouTube. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, leave a comment, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.